Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Wednesday. All of our guests today, including Tom Ghilardi, who joined us in our first hour, and Elliotte Friedman standing by, brought to you by Able Auctions, our title sponsor, ableauctions.ca. And joining us now from Hockey Night in Canada, 32 Thoughts podcast. A busy week for him with trade deadline on Friday. Elliotte Friedman. Elliotte, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Very well. Is this a week you look forward to or dread?
I look at it as it's like Thanos, right? It's inevitable. Just deal with it.
Like who?
Thanos.
Now,
don't you watch Avengers movies?
Elliotte, they're not going. Neither of them are going to get the Marvel reference, Elliotte. Neither of them.
Well,
Elliotte.
you know what? That's because I watch things other than Marvel movies. Unlike Ryan, I didn't get it.
We're old, Elliotte. We're old.
Hey, man, I'm as old as you guys. I know who Thanos is.
I don't.
Elliotte, you're not as old as me, okay? Yeah. Hey, so you don't dread it. Meanwhile, over the weekend, you said something to the effect, when you weren't watching Marvel movies, that the Canucks were looking to add to their forward group. Is that still the case? Is that still the case?
I think so, Don. I do. I think they're trying to find preferably a center, somebody they could keep with term. I don't think they're looking for rentals. I saw Patrick Alvin had an article with Ian the other day, McIntyre, where he said rentals don't make sense for us, and I think that's true. So I think they're looking for somebody with term or team control, some future there. I think they've listened on their UFAs. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Boeser in Vancouver, but also I think Suter, Forbort, anybody else who would qualify. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of interest in centers out there, and Suter's had a great year and isn't making a ton of money. So I could see that there's a whole group of them. There's about 6 or 7 guys that, teams are kind of looking at right now. So we'll see how that goes over the next little while. But if you look at Vancouver, they've signed Lankinen long-term. They've remodeled their defense a bit more long-term with the young Pettersson and the new Pettersson, and everybody hoping Villander is going to join them at the end of his college season. But I think up front, they're still looking at there's some surgery that they can do, and I think they'd like to add a center with some term or team control. We'll see.
Elliotte, the big one here in Vancouver this week is got to be Brock Boeser. He's been here since drafted 9 years. Sitting here right now, either they sign him, they keep him, or they trade him. What's your gut saying on Boeser?
Well, first of all, Rick, my gut is a lot smaller than it used to be, so I don't use it as much as I used to. You know what, Rick? I'm supposed to be this great insider that you invite on to give answers. I admit, I don't have a great feel for this one way or the other. I'd be surprised if he was extended, but that, as I've said multiple times over the last month, like the Canucks history is to do things out of nowhere. So you always have to be prepared for that possibility. Lankinen, JT Miller. So you have to be prepared for that possibility. But, I think I think they're listening on him. I think they still want to try to make the playoffs. Maybe this plays out. I don't have, I'll be honest with you, Rick, I wish I had a better answer for you. But as we sit here at 11:06 a.m. on Wednesday morning, Vancouver time, I don't have a great feel for the way this is going to go, except that I think everybody is prepared for all options. And I think Boeser just is a bit frustrated that it hasn't worked out for him to this point where others have signed.
Okay, you and I were texting last night this Suter to Dallas rumor. Are you hearing that?
I did not hear that one. Obviously, I saw the report when you sent it to me. I had not heard that. But I guess I don't hear everything, right? I'm not interested in discrediting anybody else. I don't hear everything. I had not heard that one. I do think there is interest in Suter, though. Like I said, there's a bunch of centers out there, and teams are always looking for centers. So I would stay tuned on that one.
Okay, Elias Pettersson yesterday, you saw the press conference. What did you think? And is there any chance this guy could be gone by Friday, Elliotte?
Well, what did they say in Dumb and Dumber? So you're saying there's a chance? Like I just learned over the years that. Are you trying to say something there,
That's
Daddy?
a movie I've
Well,
seen, Dumb and
yeah,
Dumber.
we've
That
Okay.
definitely, I like that.
well, we're on it every
That's a
day.
reference that works.
We're on that show every day.
Great movie, by the way.
That's fantastic movie, fantastic. My answer on this one has been not likely. I've been told not likely by several people, so I'm going with that one. I do think though at the end of the season, whenever that is for the Canucks, there is going to be a big come to Jesus conversation between everybody involved here, and
Yeah.
I think a little bit of that was about what Pettersson said the other day. His comments the other day, taking some responsibility and things
Mhm.
like that. I think the Canucks have told him that like I don't like to always bring it down to the money, but the fact is they've made a huge investment in him and they need it to pay off. And I think they just feel that look, I think they can understand that players struggle with confidence from time to time. It happens to everybody. I think they understand that people go through ups and downs. But I think one of the things the Canucks have said to him is that we just need you to be more of a force even when games aren't going well.
Mhm.
We need you to make like ultimately you're going to be best off when he's scoring, right? But even if he isn't scoring, like if you look at that game the other night against Seattle, the details were really missing. And
Yeah.
the one that looked bad was the face-off, right?
Yes.
Like
Bingo.
you can be having a bad night and you're not scoring goals, but you can't allow that to happen. And I think that they've told him that. I think that they need him to be a more impactful player. Even when nights where he isn't scoring, nobody's expecting him to go out there like Tom Wilson and fight Brady Kachuk, but you can still compete and you can still do things. And I would think too there'll be a big conversation after the season about off-season preparation and things like that. Look, everybody knows that there's one of two ways this could go. This is a long-term marriage for another 7 years, or they pivot and they go somewhere else. And right now his value isn't high. I think it's always easier, guys, to solve your problems internally rather than trade them. Always. And I think they're letting them know that we need you to try to help solve these problems with us.
And Elliot, I'm not sure how much you would know about this back east, but Rick Tocchet talked yesterday, I'm paraphrasing, about the possibility of shutting down Quinn Hughes for 7 days a week, whatever the case may be, which would be the same thing. But what are you hearing when it comes to Quinn Hughes' health? He didn't play most of the third period Saturday in Seattle.
Well, he's obviously, I mean, first of all, really tough week for the Hughes brothers, just or two of
Yes.
them
Yeah,
anyway.
no
Yeah, good
Just
kidding.
point.
really like Jack's weighing what his path is going to be here from the injury, shoulder/collarbone or whatever it was, thing that he's dealing with right now. I I think it's purely about if this is going to be something that's going to be with him for a while, what's the point of playing him? If you're not going to get better or he's going to have to sit on the bench for most of a period, it doesn't benefit the Canucks and it doesn't benefit Hughes. And we can say that Hughes at 40% is better than a lot of other players, and that's
Yeah.
true, but it still doesn't make any sense. And I would bet they're just looking at what is the best if they're going to take a run here and play. What is the best path to get him as healthy as possible?
Yeah. Elliot, for once, we're going to tell you something. We just been informed Quinn Hughes isn't playing tonight. We're talking is just
Oh, there you
spoken to the
go.
media. So he won't be playing tonight. By the way, how many texts did you get during the course of this interview? I counted like
Did
seven.
you hear?
Yeah,
You know
70
what?
beeps.
I usually when so Kelly Rudy is always like, is your phone on silent? He gets really angry when my phone dings. So usually when I
Whoa.
do one of these, I turn it off. And I did, and it's been pretty crazy. I've got some things to answer here before when we get off.
All right.
Ooh,
Okay,
wow.
we'll catch up on our Marvel movies for the next hit. Okay.
I'll tell you this, Thanos, Josh Brolin should have been nominated for best Oscar. He was fantastic.
Thanks for this.
Dumb and Dumber, good flick.
It's no Dumb and Dumber.
Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
Elliot.